See how you do under pressure. Oh, yeah. I've been wanting this forever. I've been in the field with whatever they throw at me. Brush it off, pick myself up, moving on to the better. Okay. Hey. Yeah. Ain't no errors, baby. It's a new era. I wake up early, feeling rich like I'm cashing. Get to the paper, boy.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back into another live stream podcast to talk about our favorite team, the Arizona Cardinals. Huge shout out to the sponsor of the Arizona Sports Fan throughout the entirety of the NFL season. If you're looking for a brand new sportsbook, BetUS is the way to go. Currently, right now, if you use promo code YouTube150 upon signing, they'll give you a 150% sign-up bonus up to $2,000 on your first 3 deposits. There's no longer a link that you need to click. All you need to do is use promo code YouTube150 and go ahead and get yourself that great deal offered by BetUS. So, let's get started here, ladies and gentlemen. We got a lot to dive into. And I want to give a huge shout out here to the people that are currently in the chat right now. We got John Paul, we got K1, we got MMVV, Meme Source, Matthew. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. You guys have been really showing out here from all the videos that we've been posting here throughout the entirety of, I guess, the start of the season, and that's even going back to preseason. I appreciate you guys. I really do. It's crazy to see this channel grow to the level that it has even a year or two ago. So thank you. I really do appreciate it. If you guys can do me a favor, on your way in, smack up the like button. Right now we're sitting with 4 likes. Let's see if we can get to 25 to 30 likes, being the fact that we got over 30 people here in the chat. To start off this Monday morning, it is Overreaction Monday morning, ladies and gentlemen. So let's get started. Like I said before, we got a lot to dive into, right? And it all kind of stems around Kyler Murray, the franchise quarterback. And we're going to dive into, did Kyler Murray have a good game? And it's crazy. It's not, well, I guess I wouldn't say crazy, but it's, I guess, funny, I guess is the better word. But we got a lot of Cardinal fans right now that are split down the middle with the whole Kyler Murray played a good game or he didn't, right? They almost kind of feel like they have to choose one side or the other. Like, I think you can be on both sides. I really do. I think you can look at this as best as you can and acknowledge the elephant in the room, right? And the elephant in the room is that Kyler Murray had a good game in the first half. I really do think so. I think Kyler Murray had a really good game. I think his offense looked very well in the first half of this game versus the Buffalo Bills. In the second half, the entire offense was almost felt MIA, right? We were in this game because of DJ Dallas' punt return, right? That's why, or sorry, kick return. That's why we were in this game. What a glorious thing to do. Now, obviously, we also had to convert that 2-point conversion, which the Cardinals ended up doing, and we were within 3 from that moment. So I don't want people to think that because you are on Kyler Murray's side, Kyler Murray can't do no wrong. Or if you're on the opposite side, Kyler Murray can do everything wrong, right? I think you can be on both sides of the coin here and really kind of figure out what the main important thing is. How can they fix it, right? Because we're down in one game, right? This is one game down. We got 16 games to go. The best and beautiful part of the NFL season, at least in the start of it, is that they got time to fix it. Now, if they don't fix it, and if we're sitting in week 5 or week 6 and we're still dealing with the same issues, then obviously there's more reasons for concerns as to why the Arizona Cardinals haven't fixed what the elephant in the room is. And right now is the lack of offense in the second half. Now, it's crazy to me because this almost felt like deja vu. This whole talking about where did the offense go, right? And this is not just Marvin Harrison Jr. or Michael Wilson, where were they, right? The whole conversational piece was, where was the offense in the second half? This is deja vu, ladies and gentlemen. The first 2 games of last year with Joshua Dobbs, we had the same conversations. And I had to fact check myself. Yeah, literally. Look back into those last games. Now, granted, it was Joshua Dobbs and not Kyler Murray, but we also said things to ourselves like, oh, well, if Kyler Murray played, we wouldn't be in this situation. Look it. Fast forward a year later, and we're still in the same situation. Now, are we going to blame that on Drew Petzing? I don't know, right? We always want to have a finger to point on, and I think that's one of the beautiful things about opening this up and having this conversation, because, like I said, 2 things can be true. You can be on Kyler Murray's side and think he played good, or you can think that he didn't play good and he was absolutely horrendous, because We saw a tale of two halves. We saw what this offense can be in the first half, and then we saw the second half where, man, it didn't look promising at all. Now, I want to go ahead and highlight a couple different things here. I want to highlight Kyler Murray's stats for the week 1 versus the Buffalo Bills. So let's go ahead and do that here real quick. Let's go ahead and highlight Kyler Murray's stats for week 1 versus the Buffalo Bills. Rushing, I feel like Kyler Murray did have a really good rushing game. Now, there was one of the biggest runs that I believe it was like 25 plus, where he actually juked a few different Buffalo Bills players, and he had a really, really good rush from that. So he finished off the game with 5 carries, 57 yards on the ground, and through the air, he was 21 of 31, 162 yards, 1 touchdown, right? No interceptions. So you want to hang your hat on? He was protecting the ball through the air. Yes, he needs to work on holding that ball and not having fumbles caused, but that was a really good play from that defense. Like that defense was coming in guns a-blazing to Kyler Murray. Like the moment that Jonah Williams went down, and we got to figure that out, because if Jonah Williams is down for an extended period of time, we said this. We've been talking about this throughout the entirety of this offseason. I like what we have, but the depth really scares me. And that goes on both sides of the ball, right? That goes on the offensive side, but mainly on that defensive side of the ball. What we saw in week 1 is exactly what I've been preaching throughout this entirety of this offseason. And everybody kind of swept it on the rug. Everybody said, don't worry, it's fine. We're going to be okay. We're in year 2 of a rebuild, Mike. But take a look. This is what I feared. The offense was able to score points, but our defense couldn't save anybody, right? Or stop anybody. This is what I feared. So now it came into fruition. Now we have people pointing fingers. Now we have people saying, this defense is terrible. Well, no, duh. Of course, this defense is one of the most underfunded defenses in the entirety of the NFL season. Or, sorry, in the NFL. They're the most underfunded. They really are. Like, the two big acquisitions on the defensive line this year from free agency was Bilal Nichols as well as Justin Jones. Justin Jones was, he had a snap count of 69%. He was on the field 69%, but Bilal Nichols was only on the field 44%. Only 44. Dante Stills was 40%. Roy Lopez was 37%. LJ Collier, which they were speaking very, very glowing remarks about LJ Collier, about potentially being a big focal point on this team. But LJ Collier was only on the field for 35% of the snaps. So, like, we need to fix with what we know we can fix. What the problem is that defensive line. We cannot seem to wrap up the quarterback. Now, we only have 1 game sample size. I'll give you that. It's terrible that we started off the season with playing one of the most elusive, great quarterbacks that we've seen in our time in Josh Allen, right? We're playing a magician in Josh Allen. And that's not to ignore the elephant in the room. This man is over 6'4", right? This guy's a big bodied guy. This is what I also said on my pregame as well. I get Cam Newton vibes from Josh Allen. I think Josh Allen's a better quarterback personally, but I get vibes from Cam Newton where we could not stop Cam Newton to save our lives. We had this whole big thing of the Panthers always beating us because Cam Newton, we could never stop him. And it almost kind of felt like deja vu with it, right? Big body quarterback that can get out of the pocket that we can never seem to wrap up. I get it. Different defense, different scheme, different players. Deja vu happened again because Josh Allen put this team on his back and he said, you are not going to beat me, Cardinals. So this is where Kyler Murray ended up ending off the week 1. 21 for 31, 162 yards, 1 touchdown. And then on the ground, 5 carries, 57 yards. Now, one of the main reasons as to, I guess, why we're talking about this whole storyline of, is this Kyler Murray's fault or did he have a good game, right? It's overreaction Mondays and we lost. We're not celebrating victory Mondays. So it's obviously something that we need to dive into. But one thing that I want to highlight is the fact that there's been several people on the X/Twitter space talking about Kyler Murray not having a good game, right? So I want to go ahead and highlight a tweet from John Gambadoro of Arizona Sports. And if you don't, I know there's a lot of people that are like, oh, nobody listens to him. Honestly, I still do think he's probably one of the best sources out in AZ Sports, honestly, to the date. but he put a very, very interesting tweet that I want to obviously talk about. And there was a guy that rebutted against it. So we're going to be talking about both sides of it all, right? But this is one of those things where like you can be on both sides of the ball where you don't think Kyler Murray is played a great game, but still do think that he can be okay, right, for the future. So, okay, let's go ahead and dive into this tweet. And then we got a rebuttal here that we're going to be shining up here pretty soon as well. So John Gambadoro said this: Kyler Murray, not a good game. Passed for 131 yards in the first half and finished with 162 yards. Yup, that is 31 yards in the second half. And all but 3 of those yards came in the final 2 minutes of their last possession. Arizona's offense accounted for 3 points in the second half. Now, reason why I said that is because the special teams scored a touchdown, right, from that kick return from DJ Dallas. The second half was a bad watch. It really was. It was not a good watch for the Arizona Cardinals offense at all. We talked about this last year as well. Where the offense kind of fell asleep, right? Where was the offense last year? In the second half. Look back if you don't want to believe me. We had the same issues with the Giants as well as the Commanders last year. We were starting off hot. We were looking good. We were looking promising. And we told ourselves if we had Kyler Murray, we would win these games. Now, granted, the Bills is a much better team than those two teams are. That's facts, right? But if we want to get rid of this narrative, the best way to do that is week 2 versus the Rams. We know what the Rams do to us. Every year, week in and week out, we know what the Rams do to us. But we got 2 teams right now that are fighting for not starting off the season at 0-2. This is a big game. This is a big game coming in week 2 versus the Rams. Because you got the Rams losing to the Lions. You got the Cardinals losing to the Bills. We're both starting off an 0-1. Imagine you start off an 0-2. That's not a good look at all. So this is a big game for the Cardinals. Okay, so we got the initial tweet here from John Gambadoro, which he's talking about stats, right? And honestly, breaking down this tweet, I mean, I can agree with him in a sense of he's kind of right? Where was the offense in the second half? That's a good question. It's a valid question, right? The third quarter, we scored no points. There was nothing established in that second half, or at least the third quarter. There was nothing established on the offensive side of the ball. Why? Adjustments, right? The Bills adjusted to what the Cardinals were trying to do, and that was ram the ball down their throats with James Conner. They adjusted. Cardinals didn't. Let's see what this rebuttal came out here. Now, I don't know this individual very much, but he did have a retweet, and I want to give a shout out here to Mythic AZ. He actually retweeted this, and this is the only reason why I ended up seeing this tweet here. But I want to read this. And he says this: not sure Kyler's among the top 5 reasons the Cardinals lost. He wasn't perfect, but he was fine. Drops and bizarre play calling more to blame. Also, the Cards hung with more talent team on the road, despite being mostly unable to stop them all day. Don't get the negativity. So, obviously, 2 tweets. This tweet here from Max came from a retweet here from John Gambadoro's original tweet. And I think both are valid, right? I think Kyler Murray had a decent game. I don't think he had a good second half. I think this offense looked very good in the first half. I really do. At one point, I was like, dang, look what we're doing against the Bills. We're looking fantastic. We're looking good. And then adjustments. So is this a tale of getting out-coached? Is this a Drew Petzing thing? Is that what we're dealing with? Maybe. I don't know. Because we looked good in the first half and then it just went away. Momentum is a real thing. I'll just tell you that right now. Momentum is a real thing. I know JG said it's not, or he doesn't believe in it. It's a real thing. It's a real thing. And yes, I see you there, username. After Jonah went down, it got pretty nasty. Yeah, that's fair to say. But we have seen quarterbacks still excel. We still have seen quarterbacks excel Maybe not excel, but get the job done, right? Maybe not excel, but get the job done. So the question to you guys in the chat here is, was this statistical? I'm talking about stats. Stats. Was this statistical performance from Kyler Murray good enough to win the game? I mean, obviously it wasn't, right? Because we lost. But would you be fine with Kyler Murray having these stats 5 or 6 games out of the year? Ask yourself, would you be fine with Kyler Murray having these stats right here for 5 or 6 games out of the year? Heck, we could even say 3 or 4 games out of the year. No, I'll answer it. No, I wouldn't be. This is not a good on paper statistical sheet from a guy that's getting paid the amount he is. It's not. Now, I don't think the full game was blamed on Kyler. Or I wouldn't say the main reason why we lost was Kyler. No, I'm not sitting here and say that. I don't think he had a great game. I don't think he had a bad game. I think he had a meh game. I think he had an okay game. And it kind of circles back to what I was talking about again, because it's so funny because I've talked about every single thing that I feared starting week 1. We should have played them in preseason. How are we going to sit here and say we don't have connection? How are we going to sit here and say we don't have connection? Well, I mean, I guess it's true, because it doesn't matter how many videos or how many hours you put in a workout video. It doesn't matter how many times you go out here to LA and bring out your entire offensive, pieces with you. And honestly, it was a great video. There's no knock on Kyler Murray for doing it. I think it's a great thing that he did. He's taking on a leadership role, and that's not why I'm not coming in here and trying to attack him. That's not what I'm trying to do. But what I'm saying, that's great that he did that, but you're not going to get those reps or those game time reps like you will in preseason. The fear was the fact that, what if Kyler Murray gets hurt? We need to stay healthy. I mean, that didn't help Darius Robinson. Darius Robinson got hurt. We got B.J. Ojulari done for the season. It doesn't matter. You need to prepare for the season. Preseason is crucial. It was crucial for the Cardinals to come out here and play at least a drive or two, where the stats didn't matter, where Kyler Murray didn't have to worry about what if I throw an interception because Marvin Harrison Jr. is not on the same page as me. That's when you can go through these bumps and bruises and try to get familiar with, okay, if this is not here, you do this. If you don't do this, then I do that. Missing out in preseason because of the judgment of what Jonathan Gannon decided to do. Please keep in mind that you can do whatever you decide you want to do, right? This is Jonathan Gannon's show. He's the one calling the decisions. He's the one calling the shots. I get there was a fear of trying to keep everybody healthy, and I get that. But there were some obvious struggles on the offensive side of the ball in that second half. There were some obvious struggles. And was that because there was no comfortability with Kyler and Marvin Harrison Jr.? Probably. Was that because there's no comfortability with him and Michael Wilson? Probably, which I don't get. They were seeming to get into a groove in the end of last year, but I get it. Different year, different plays. I get it. But it was crucial. Let's not sit here and be worried about, we need to stay healthy. Because if we are in a game that this offensive line is not helping Kyler Murray stay upright, then obviously pull him out. Obviously, right? You're not sticking him in there to prove something. You're sticking him in there to get this bumps and bruises out of the way. That's why you're putting him in there in preseason. It's important. You're not going to be able to get real game time reps as close as regular game time reps if it's not preseason. You can't physically put a defensive line with men that are 6'3" trying to rip your head off, or 6'3" plus trying to rip your head off in practice. You can't. Because guess what? In practice, Kyler Murray doesn't have the movements. Kyler Murray doesn't have a fear of people attacking him. Kyler Murray doesn't actually in the mode of being a quarterback. Practice is, I'm going to drop back. I'm going to see who's available. I'm going to throw a dime. I think Kyler Murray's a really good passer. I really do. When he has time, he's a really good passer. So to circle back, did Kyler Murray have a good game? Statistically, I don't think he did. I don't think he did either. I agree with John Gambit. I don't think he had a good game. Is he a reason as to why the Cardinals lost? I think he's a part of the reason. I don't think he's the sole reason. I think the defense is more of a reason as to why we lost this game, because we couldn't wrap up Josh Allen, because we allowed the momentum swing to go their way, right? I feel like that was more of a reason, because you can't sit here and tell me you're going to provide 7 points to end the first half. They get the ball the next time around, and then we give another 7 points their way, and it's all with Josh Allen using his legs. We could not seem to wrap up him as a QB. But then I can't be mad. I can't be mad because the Cardinals put themselves in this situation. I can't be mad because the Cardinals put themselves in this situation when I've been raving about what the Cardinals should be doing is getting themselves a prime edge rusher. Everybody said no. No, we're in year 2. They don't care that we got $35 million in cap space. No, they said no. They said, no, we don't need it. We're in year 2. This offense can win games. Imagine Kyler Murray can now throw the ball to the wide receivers, Michael Wilson, Greg Dortch. Imagine that. But the defense can't stop. This is what I feared. My problem is more with the defense than it is from Kyler Murray. Did he have a good statistical game? No, he didn't. Was he good? I say he was more meh than good. I mean, we could have still won. There was a very, very serious chance for the Cardinals to win, but I blame this more on the defense than I do on Kyler. Like, truly. Did he have a good statistical game? No, he didn't. Did he have some really good plays that got us in really sticky situations or got out of sticky situations? Yes, he did. It's what he does. That's what the elusive quarterback does in Kyler Murray. I blame this loss more on the defense. But how can I fully blame the defense when the Arizona Cardinals put us in this situation? Jonathan Gannon saying that he's confident in this defensive line. I don't know if he's just lying. I don't know if he really doesn't have pull. I don't know if Monty Ossenfort and Michael Bidwell have a cahoots about not spending money. I don't know. But we obviously have $30+ million right now in cap space. Right now. So for the people out there saying, we don't need it. Oh, we don't need it. This is year 2. Okay, it's year 2. But you're also putting this man right here in constant hot seat of why can you win games when the defense can't stop a lick? Make it make sense. Make it make sense. And I get the argument, right? I already see Jesus in the chat. If you're a franchise quarterback, you find a way to win. I do agree with you. I do agree with you. 100%. That's not me saying I don't think he's not a franchise quarterback. I think Kyler Murray had a meh to good game. I think it was okay. It was all right. It wasn't great, because if it was great, we would have won. It was okay. But I blame this loss more on the defense. I truly do. I blame this loss more on the defense than I do on anything. But like I said, how do I blame the defense? How can I sit here and say, Buddha Baker, tell me what happened, Buddha? Explain to me what went wrong. Well, I know what happened. The Cardinals refused to add serious talent to this defense. That's what happened. I know the answer. I know the answer. The Cardinals refused it. They said, no, we're going to sign Bilal Nichols. We're going to sign Justin Jones instead of going for Christian Wilkins. That's what the Cardinals did. Oh, well, we don't need it, Mike. We're not going to spend big money on these guys that are not going to be big, impactful players. Okay, well, here's the result. Here's the result. The Cardinals caused pressure, but the big elephant in the room is that they couldn't wrap up that guy. They couldn't wrap up Josh Allen. Pressure is great. Pressure is wonderful as long as you can get the man down or make him miss. You give Josh Allen the time to make a sandwich back there, he's going to find an open wide receiver. You give him more than 4 or 5 seconds is all he needs. Is all he needs. But there was a lot of things as to why we lost. It wasn't just Kyler. It's not just Kyler. I don't think he had a good statistical game. No, I don't think he did. Stats-wise, I don't think he did. Did he get us at sticky situations? Yes, I do believe he got really, really good things done with his legs. I think they were very reassuring. But one thing I want to say is that defensively, That's where the real crutch is. That's where the real crutch is defense and depth. Depth has always been a crutch of this team. That's the entire team. That's the entire team. I like our offensive line, but you get one guy down, you get one guy hurt, Jonah Williams, Exhibit A, you see a different offensive line. Now, I'm hoping Jonah Williams is going to be okay. Fingers crossed. Please don't be gone for a long time. Maybe Kelvin Beachum just needs a week under his belt. Maybe that might be what it is. Okay, cool. Let's give Kelvin Beachum the week if Jonah Williams needs some time off. Okay. But man, that's the biggest fear I had. Because we're also leaning on Darius Robinson. You don't know how many people have already asked. You don't know how many people have already asked, what do you think the impact is going to be of Darius Robinson when he comes back? We're depending on a rookie. We're depending on a rookie to come out here and absolutely destroy the opposing quarterbacks. That's what we're depending on. It's unfortunate, and that's what we're doing with Marvin too. I mean, let's call it like it is. Do I think Michael Wilson could have a very, very good season? Yes, I do. I still do. Do I think Marvin Harrison Jr. can have a really, really good season? Of course, yes, I do. But you got to get the ball thrown to him. You got to throw the darn ball, or you got to give him a chance. I get there was balls. I get it. I understand it. And if I can just get into the psyche of the mind of Kyler Murray and figure out why the decision was Greg Dortch, I mean, Kyler Murray said it. He already answered that. Kyler Murray said he felt like that was the best matchup, and they went with it. If you don't know what I'm talking about, here's a clip from the media ended up asking Kyler Murray as to why they decided to go to Greg Dortch, 5'7", wide receiver, as opposed to the other wide receivers. And this is what Kyler Murray said.
Ran the ball, third down, going down, got a chance to win. There's like 40 seconds left. And you run the ball to James Conner, who gets like next to nothing. And you throw it down to the shortest receiver on the field on the 2-yard line. I wasn't satisfied with the play calling. Tell me why I'm wrong.
I mean, that's what we felt was best. You know, that was what we felt the run. Obviously, if it would have popped, you wouldn't be saying that. You know, they're obviously playing soft, playing pass. So trying to sneak a run in there, we had timeouts. It wasn't like we needed to force the ball downfield, you know what I mean? So you try to sneak one in there. You know, as far as matchup goes, I like all 4 of the receivers that we had out there on any of the DBs, but that was the one I chose. So,
and that's the thing too, right? These split decisions in that very, very moment, these split decisions are being asked a question when your mind is not on that adrenaline. Because playing quarterback is a tough thing to do. It's a tough thing to do. When you got adrenaline up the yin yang, your mind's going 50 miles an hour, 120 miles an hour, you can't really process. Unless you're Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen, apparently. There's a lot that goes on in the mind of a quarterback. The split decision that he made going to Greg Dortch is head-scratching. It is. Because if you're not going to sit here and tell me that the other 2 options that you had, now I got to wait to see the All-22 film. I want to look at that specific play to see who exactly was open and who exactly was available. But the split decision to go to Greg Dortch, if I'm going to be honest here, I think it was more comfortability. I think Kyler Murray's thought process was, I do think he's going to win this matchup. Obviously, that's one of them. But then, honestly, the fact that Greg Dortch has probably been as reliable as they come. Right? So I think he thought he was the most reliable option, honestly. Look at the stats. Look at the stats. He's more comfortable with Greg Dortch right now. The PI should have been called. Yes, it should have. Right? Could the Cardinals won? Yes. Yeah, the Cardinals could have won. Absolutely. But the decision to go to Greg Dortch over any other guys, heck, maybe even Trey McBride, is head-scratching. It really is. Now, Jonathan Gannon was asked about the 3rd and 10. The 3rd and 10 draw play. And this is what Jonathan Gannon ended up having to say.
Drive there where you ran the ball with Connors, Was there a reason why you decided to run instead of keeping the passing game going?
Yeah, I tried to pop a run there on third down, so like the call there, got us to a manageable call. They did a good job getting it down, but I like the play call there.
I said this on multiple videos, and I put this on X/Twitter as well. This is coming from a good place. I would rather JG not even say anything. I get it. He's coming to the aid. He's never going to be a guy that's going to throw anybody under the bus. I get that. I understand that. It's his philosophy. It's always on the coaches per him, and it's always him first than the other coaches, right? He says coaches, and he talks about everybody. To hear that was a good play call, I'm not satisfied with that. I'm really not, because I don't think it was. I get where the mindset was coming from. I get it. They were trying to catch him by surprise. And like Kyler Murray said, if it popped off, then nobody would be talking about that. You're right. 100%. That's the difference between it worked and it didn't work. That's the difference between it worked and it didn't work. And it didn't work. So, of course, you're going to be answering these questions. Why did you do a draw play at 3rd and 10? Why? And that's not the first time it happened. The Cardinals were in a 3rd and 6, and they chose to run with James Conner. They chose to run with James Conner. It's obvious that the game plan was run the ball. It's obvious, right? It's obvious that the game plan was run the ball. But you cannot be a one-sided team. You cannot. You absolutely cannot. It's going to kill you. It's going to come back and bite you in the ASS. It's going to come back and bite you. And it bit the Cardinals. I think the Cardinals thought that they were going to be able to run the ball as efficiently as they did in the first half, and it came back and bit them. They rode with it. They took they took the ball out of the hands of their playmaker and Kyler Murray, and potentially their wide receivers / tight end, and they rolled the dice and it didn't work. Right? So they had to settle for a field goal in that second time I was mentioning, where they decided to run the ball on a 3rd and 6. So they had to settle for a field goal. Like, these little things, these little nuances are all going to add up to the reasons why you lose. These decisions are crucial. They really are. They absolutely are. Now, I know people are already asking Marvin Harrison Jr., right? Let's talk about Marvin Harrison Jr. here, ladies and gentlemen. Kyler Murray was also asked about Marvin Harrison Jr., about potentially seeing him up the middle. He said no, but there's a little bit deeper as to kind of me wanting to break down exactly what he said. So
I felt like we deserved to win that and should have won it, but hey, great game by them. We just got to be better. We got to execute better.
On the last drive, there was a 2nd down where you were scrambling around and ended up finding Greg for a 1st down. It looked like Marvin had some space downfield. Did you see him there?
Nah.
Is that just because you were moving around trying to avoid the
Yeah, you play football, like, there's a lot of stuff moving around. You're moving fast. Like, you don't see everything.
I get that. We saw the breakdown.
Take away Marvin.
Honestly, man, I wouldn't say they were just taking them away. I think, I'm just, as a quarterback, obviously you're going through your read. Sometimes the ball goes to them, but that's not, it's not my job. Obviously, I have a sense and a feel for guys when they don't get the ball and when they're, when they are getting the ball. But, I leave that up to Drew. Drew always, he tells me don't worry about that type of stuff. Just keep playing your game and, get the ball to where the ball's supposed to go.
So, a lot to unpack, right? And I really want to focus on the last 30 seconds of that clip. That last 30 seconds, there's a lot. Him really kind of saying it's more Drew Petzing's job as to getting these playmakers the ball. I mean, it's correct to an extent, right? But I'm assuming Kyler Murray does have the ability to do audibles and change the plays, right? We've seen it in this game where he changed some play calls in the line, and they're giving him confidence to do so, right? So to me, I didn't. It's not the fact that you missed Marvin Harrison Jr. and a wide open. And like I said, we saw the breakdown already. So when that was happening, that literally 2 to 3 seconds, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, I released a video called The Aftermath literally about 2.5 hours ago. If you haven't watched it, check it out. But it's got a really good breakdown here with Dan Orlovsky. Dan Orlovsky, he ended up breaking down that specific play when by the time that Marvin Harrison Jr. raised his hands, Kyler Murray was already on the left side. Like his eyes were already over there. So, but that's the thing too. Like, how is he not your number one option? Because if you're looking to the right, then again, Kyler Murray's focusing on Greg Dortch. Because Greg Dortch was the guy that's right there. Like, he's focusing down on Greg Dortch. So, Dan Orlovsky, like I said before, he did a really good breakdown. He said, okay, so if he was looking originally there on the right-hand side, right, there was a blitz coming from that side. So, there was going to leave somebody open. And the guy jumped. So, that could potentially lead to a bat down, interception, right, all these different things. But again, his number one option was to go to Dortch, not Marvin. Because if he stayed on that side, I get it. A blitz is coming from that way. I get it. But he still had time to go up and down, and still find Dortch. It's not like he didn't have an extensive amount of time. His eyes were already to the left-hand side. Okay, I'll give you that. He's scrambling around. He's looking for a play. He still goes to the right and gives it to Dortch. Because that's who he's most comfortable with. And that needs to change. That absolutely needs to change. I love the fact that he loves Greg Dortch. I love Greg Dortch too. I think he's a dog. I think he's a great player. But one of the biggest things of being a quarterback is going through the progressions and trying to see what your big 4th overall pick is doing on that side too. It's crucial. So although this play, not all on Kyler, give you that, right? Not all on Kyler. But if his eyes stayed on that side, as opposed to scrambling to the left, he probably could have potentially saw Marvin. I still do think it was a great breakdown. I really do. I think the breakdown was really, really good. And the thought process. And of course, it's easy for me to say, I'm not the one getting attacked by these big bodied guys. Of course, I'm not the one getting attacked. Of course. So it's easy for me to say, but it's kind of one of those things too. It's like his number one thought process is, let me give this to Dortch. Dortch was covered in that first progression. He moved over to the left-hand side. He still had time to move up and down, and he gave the ball to Greg Dortch still. But what I want Kyler to do moving forward is give the man a chance. Give the man a chance. Give him the opportunity to make a play. I get it. The drops were crucial. I understand it. I get it. Drop was crucial. Michael Wilson also had another huge drop as well that could have been game-changing for the Arizona Cardinals. Could have been game-changing, absolutely. There were some big, crucial moments that these wide receivers drop very easy, catchable balls. Absolutely. Give you that. It's just, it's hard to look at that play and say, man, what could have been, right? What could have been? And then the decision ended up capping it off with throwing the ball deep to Greg Dortch, and the rest was over from there. So there was that. What's up? No, he says there was a blitz. What was he supposed to do? I explained it. I mean, he didn't get taken down by a blitz. He moved to the left. He still found Dortch to the right hand side. So that game, that play was still going for at least another 2 seconds. At least. That play was still going for more than 2 or 3 seconds. So it's not like he got sacked. No. He moved to the left because that's where his progression said. He saw Dortch. He saw the guy coming. He saw that a potential bat down happened because the guy jumped. But his mind process was, let me go to the left, as opposed to what is my big body wide receiver going over there, going down the sideline. Let me stick down and 1 second to see what he's going to do. Would that cause a sack? Maybe. But that's kind of where we're at right now, right? And here it is. Spencer, you're right. I mentioned this on my video too, right? We'll take his word, right? We'll take his word. That's the only thing that we can do. It's the only thing that we can do to take his word on it. He said in the post game, it doesn't matter that they drop balls, then legit only target Dortch the whole game a wild statement. That's what I'm saying. I feel like the psyche of Kyler Murray, although wants to admit it or not, I think he was affected. I really do. I think he felt more confident in Greg Dortch because he hasn't failed him so far. Truly, truly. And if that's really what the issue is, fix it. It's easy to be fixed, right? Just fix it. Marvin Harrison Jr. with 3 targets, 2 is what? Yeah. There's a reason why the media is asking. And that's the funny thing. I was thinking the same darn thing, too. Like, I was thinking the exact same thing. Is he shunning these wide receivers from this game because he's just mad? Because he's upset that they dropped really crucial balls? Is that what we're doing right now? Like, is that the world that we're living in? You're right. He was asked that in the postgame. Guess why? Because we all felt the same thing. Why are they not involved in this game? Why is it Greg Dortch and James Conner? Why? James Conner had, like, to start the game, James Conner had the ball, 5 or 6 straight times, either catching the ball out of the backfield or running. It was the James Conner and Greg Dortch show, and sprinkle in a little bit of Trey McBride. I would feel more confident, to be honest with you, if the ball went to a taller wide receiver than Greg Dortch. Should that have been a PI call? Yes, it should have been. But I can sleep better at night saying that Kyler Murray gave the opportunity to your 4th overall pick or your 6'2 wide receiver in Michael Wilson, or heck, even Trey McBride. I'm sorry, but Greg Dortch shouldn't be your number 1 option. Does that make sense? Chat. I get it. It's a split decision. But that shouldn't be your mind process that Greg Dortch is your number 1 option. I love Greg Dortch. This is not a knock on Greg Dortch. I think he's a dog. But you got to give the opportunity to your 4th overall pick. You got to give the opportunity to your 6'2 wide receiver in Michael Wilson for a potential jump ball, as opposed to your 5'7 wide receiver, which is a dog. I want to preface that because I know people are going to be like, oh, you hate Greg Dortch. No. That's the contrary. That's the quite opposite. Who was the one talking about Greg Dortch when Rondo Moore was taking up all his snaps? Hey, me. People don't want to remember all that stuff, right? People don't want to remember all the stuff that I've been talking great stuff about Greg Dortch when I wanted him in there over Rondo Moore. No. Let's talk now in this little specific section. No, I love Greg Dortch. I think Greg Dortch is an absolute dog, but that was not a play for Greg Dortch. It shouldn't have been. That should have been a ball to your 4th overall pick, Trey McBride, or hey, let me give you another option, Michael Wilson, 6'2 wide receiver. Absolutely overdose, 100% agree. Jonah Williams going down was an absolute heartbreaker, 100%. Pressure was worse when he wasn't there, facts. Let's hope he can be back next game. Doesn't sound good, but if Kelvin Beacham's going to be the guy, then let's give him a week of practice and see if he can gel with these offensive linemen, and let's see what happens from there. That's just all I'm trying to get across. So to kind of preface what we've talked about so far today, obviously Kyler Murray's getting a lot of negativity, getting a lot of hate. Maybe not negativity, or I guess let's not say hate. Kyler Murray is getting a lot of blame. That's the better word. Blame for week 1 matchup versus the Bills. Right? Per John Gambadoro here. And then we got that retweet here from this fellow named Max. Right? Pretty much coming to the aid, saying he doesn't feel like the top 5 reasons was Kyler Murray, which I don't know about that. Okay, well, let's list the 5 reasons, shall we? Not in any specific order. Defense, right? Obviously, defense. We can throw Gilligan in there. Gilligan had a really good, a terrible punt that kind of bit us in the butt and got him really good field position. Let's throw that in there. Offense went MIA. I mean, like what? I mean, outcoached. Kyler Murray? I mean, yeah. I mean, what else is there? We didn't get pressure. Well, we know why we didn't get pressure. The Cardinals ignored it. The Cardinals ignored the fact that they said that they were fine. They were confident. They were confident with what we had. I don't get it. I don't understand it. I don't know why. I don't get it. Okay, here we go, Charles. Charles says, Drew. So the offensive coordinator. Okay. Defense, refs not giving a call, the line, and the win. Or let's throw Mother Nature in there, ladies and gentlemen. Let's throw Mother Nature in there. Right, love it. Love it. Let's throw Mother Nature in there. The win was crazy. That's true. The win was crazy. It really was. The line, you can, I don't know, like, this is very, very detailed. You blame the win more on Kyler? You blame the win more on the line. I mean, obviously the line has the effective of what Kyler can do, obviously, if he needs time, but like, interesting. Here we go. We have a guy, RBG. What's up, buddy? He says, play calling, refs, coaching, special teams, bad defense, Drew. So use Drew a lot. Okay, so play calling. So that's Drew. So play calling is Drew. Refs, coaching is Drew too. Special teams, defense. Okay, so what's that fifth? You want to blame Mother Nature too? So play calling. Okay. Preseason, there you go, Bass. There you go. I blame the cotton burrito. Here we go. This is the best comment of the day, ladies and gentlemen. Classy, nasty coming up clutch. So, like, I mean, come on now. Let's be real with ourselves. Top 5. If the Cardinals won, who would be your list? If the Cardinals won, who would be your list? Kyler Murray? That wide receiver who caught it? Ask yourself, why the double standard? Ask yourself, why the double standard? If we won, who would be your top 5 list as to why we won? The sack, fumble, the really good offense in the first half, the touchdown pass by Kyler Murray. Yes, football gods hates us. That's another reason here, ladies and gentlemen. What's up, Jesus? Jesus says, refs blew it for both sides, but these Kyler lovers seem to really blame their... That's what I'm saying. Like, if we won, Kyler would have got very, very high praises. Let's call it like it is, ladies and gentlemen. Let's call it like it is. He would have got very high praises. We got to be fair. We need to be fair. We need to be fair. And I'm honestly seeing a lot of, I don't want to say excuses, but excuses. This is week 1. How are you going to learn from the mistakes that you made? You got to address the elephant in the room here, ladies and gentlemen. It was a slate of things as to why the Cardinals lost. Throwing Mother Nature in there as well. It was a slate of things. A slate of things. But if you're going to seriously sit here and tell me that Kyler Murray wasn't one of the reasons, I don't know. Like, how can we have a conversation? Because statistically, I don't want to see a game like this ever again. I don't think this is a good game. I really don't. I think this is a meh game. This could be a lot better if we threw the ball to the wide receivers, I almost promise you. The first half was wonderful. The offense looked good. Oh boy, did it look good. Right now, what we can hope for, and I have faith. I'm putting all my eggs in a basket here and saying the Arizona Cardinals are going to be able to figure this out. I'm glad this happened in week 1, to be honest with you. Not the Marvin thing. That's unacceptable to me. The Marvin Harrison Jr. one catch 4 or 5 yards. That's unacceptable to me. But I'm glad we got this loss, truly, because now we can really deep dive in terms of what the heck just happened here. Like this is not how we're going to be able to win games in the NFL. We can't blame the refs all the time. We can't. Get the job done, and we'll be fine. Offense on the second quarter, or the second half, I apologize. The offense in the second half was abysmal. It was bad. The offense wasn't good. We scored no points. I believe we had 2 3-and-outs. It was bad. The Cardinals had an opportunity to really staple this down and tell the Bills, no, curb stomp, you're not coming back in this game. They had an opportunity. We allowed this game to slip. JG said the same thing, so I'm not coming out of here saying things like, oh, Mike's just speaking. No, I'm speaking exactly what Jonathan Gannon said. It's unacceptable to have a 14-point swing. The Cardinals didn't answer. Mike, what's up, Mike? 704, first super chat of the day. What's up, brother? Appreciate you, man. Thank you so very much for the super chat. He says this. Honestly, you think we're beating the Rams next week? All we got is a hope and a prayer. That's it. I mean, that's all we got. That's all we got is a hope and a prayer. The Rams is not going to be an easy team. The Rams just lost against the Lions. And guess what? We got 2 teams with their backs against the wall right now. We got 2 teams with their backs against the wall. The Rams don't want to start off 0-2. The Cardinals don't want to start off in 0-2. But guess what? After that, we got the Lions, which beat the Rams. Did you see the pressure that defensive line actually put on Matthew Stafford? Did you see the pressure? I don't know if you guys caught that Sunday Night Football game. Now, I'm not expecting what the Lions look like, right? I'm not expecting that. We don't have a Aiden Hutchinson in our team. Hopefully we did, but we don't. That was the epitome of what you would want your defense to look like. Not this. Not this. We allowed Josh Allen to put us over a barrel and allowed him to rush, 2 touchdowns? Throw 2 touchdowns? Is that the way his stats ended up with? Let me take a look here. I don't know Josh Allen's stats off the rip because I'm trying to forget it. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm trying to forget this. His stat sheet even existed. Let's see. So Josh Allen was 18 for 23, 232 yards, 2 touchdowns throwing. Rushing, 9 carries, 39 yards, 2 touchdowns. So this man accounted for all 4 touchdowns for the, or 4 of the touchdowns for his team. And I believe it was field goal, right? Yeah, field goal after that, and then 4 touchdowns. 2 passing, 2 rushing. Yep. We allowed them to cook us. But how do you blame a defense when you're undermanned? Monty put us in this situation. Michael Bidwell put us in this situation. Jonathan Gannon coming out and saying, I feel confident with who we have. Let's see what week 2 does. Because Matthew Stafford is surgical. Surgical. His wide receivers are surgical. Josh Allen, he'll beat you with his legs. He'll cause you to look very, very silly, and he did. But Matthew Stafford is a different beast. He will find open guys. He will place the ball in very tight windows. Surgical. Number one thing that we've talked about is the Cardinals don't have a pass rush. We talked about that. Was I right? Or was I right? We don't have a pass rush. And we still don't. Bless the heart of Zaven Collins. Bless the heart of Dennis Gardeck. I hope that Xavier Thomas comes out to be a very, very good player. He's a rookie, though. And then we got Victor Dimukeje. I'm curious, just off the rip here, did Cam Thomas play for the Chiefs versus the Ravens? I'm curious. I don't think I even thought or looked into seeing if he actually even had any impactful plays for the Chiefs. Looking at the defense, I don't see anything. Cam Thomas. Nope, don't see anything. Okay, so another guy that probably wouldn't have done well for the Cardinals anyways. King J-Rock running on 3rd and 10, a bad call. Well, per Jonathan Gannon.
Drive there where you ran the ball with Connors. Was there a reason why you decided to run instead of keeping the passing game going?
Yeah, I tried to pop a run there on 3rd down, so like the call there, got us to a manageable call. They did a good job getting it down, but I like the play call there.
No, it wasn't a good call. It was a bad call. Please learn from it. Don't come out here and try to put lipstick on a pig and try to sell us BS. It's not a good call. The broadcasters say the same thing. Please do not think that because we're not playing the game that we can't use our own eyes and say that this was not a good call, Jonathan Gannon. I get it. I'm not getting too hard on him because I know he came to the aid for Drew Petzing. I know it. So I'm not going to be too hard on him, but I do not like that answer. I would rather him plead the 5th, honestly. Or even say, we got to look at the tape. I would accept that too. I got to look at the tape. I got to see exactly what happened in that play. I would have loved that too. But no, he likes the play call. Not a good play call. Jonathan Gannon. Not a good play call. The offensive, what we were trying to do in that game was run the ball. We established it. We did. They adjusted. We didn't. Simple as that. Find a way to beat the Rams next week, and we're back in it, baby. We're back in it. Find a way to beat the Rams, and we're back in it. But like I said, that quarterback over there, has got a chip on his shoulder. He went back to Detroit. He heard Jared Goff chants. He was pissed off. He wanted to win this game, and guess what? He lost. And guess what? He could take it on the next match. He could take it. He could take it on the next opponent. And who's that? Us. They don't want to start 0-2. We don't want to start 0-2. Division matchup, ladies and gentlemen. I'm putting my faith on Jonathan Gannon. I'm hopefully, fingers crossed, that we can get this win out. Because if we start 0-2, boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Next Reaction Monday is going to be a very interesting show, ladies and gentlemen. So appreciate y'all for tuning in. We're going to go ahead and close up shop here. I want to go ahead and give a huge shout out here to the sponsors of the Arizona Sports Fan throughout the entirety of the NFL season. BetUS. Right now, if you use promo code YouTube150, no longer a link. Just go ahead upon signing, use promo code YouTube150, and they'll give you a 100% sign-up bonus on your first 3 deposits first 3 deposits up to $2,000 by using that promo code YouTube150. All right, y'all, let's run it back on Sunday. Highness took that from you. Appreciate y'all for being in the chat, ladies and gentlemen. If you guys haven't already smacked the like button, do me a huge favor. Smack your like button or smack the like button on your way out. Thank you, as always, for tuning in. We'll see you on the next show, Cardinals podcast. What's up, y'all? Appreciate y'all. Have a great rest of your day, and go Cards.